Welcome to the Boricua Culture Mix. I'm one of your hosts, Wilma Lebron Moore.
And I'm Diane Rivera.
And this is where la isla meets the diaspora.
Échate pa' acá, te hice café.
Hola, Corillo. Welcome back to another episode of Boricua Culture Mix Pod. I'm one of your hosts, Wilma Lebron Moore. So happy to be back. We have such an exciting guest to talk to about. So without further ado, I'm going to kick it over to my podcast host so that we can excitedly introduce who we're going to be talking to today.
Hola, hola. So, ¿dónde estamos? ¿En qué mes estamos? ¿En qué mes estamos, Wilma?
Diciembre.
Llegó la Navidad.
Yes.
Así es que me tenía que contestar. Llegó la Navidad.
I was singing one of my mom's school songs. She used to always be like, Diciembre.
Oh, wow, that's a new one. Eso no lo había escuchado.
Listen, she has a whole bunch of little like songs that she like pulls from being in school. But yes, we are in December. We are in the month of Merry Christmas.
Ujú.
Okay, I am so excited. Pero I have to tell you something, Josie.
¿Qué?
Estoy atrasada
¿Por qué estás atrasada?
porque Santa Claus no está aquí. I don't got an árbol up. I don't got a wreath. I don't got a light. Nada.
Pues te cuento una cosa. You're not alone.
No.
You're not alone.
Oh my
Estamos
gosh.
atrasados.
We
Estamos atrasados.
are. Life has been lifing. I need to put this tree up so I can have some holiday cheer because me siento bien grinchy.
Yo estoy igual, estoy que me fui y me compré el Grinch meal de
Yo, my niece showed me a little video of her eating the Grinch meal. I'm like, please be so for real. Also, where can I get one?
pero Dios santo. Pero speaking of food, because you guys know that we are foodies over here. Hoy, como dijo Wilma, we have a special guest. Bueno, yo le voy a decir un super special guest in the house. Y es a Philly's own, I'm going to call her Pastelillos queen, Amy. Amy, ¿cómo estás?
Hello, ¿cómo estamos? ¿Cómo estamos?
Bienvenida a Boricua Culture
Gracias.
Mix Pod.
Un
Bienvenida.
placer estar aquí con ustedes. Gracias por tenerme. I'm so excited to be on the podcast and just talk.
Ay, sí, ¿verdad? Como que hace falta un chismecito de aquí, de vez en cuando, chismosear un poquito.
Y gracias por tenerme.
Sí, Amy. Gracias for just being here. Thank you so much. We have been fangirling over your food for a while. We had spoken on the pod. We went to the Chewy concert and I was so excited that you were there. And I was telling Josie, like, you gotta try her food. We're gonna have some right now. I was letting her know like I had tried it already, and we had an experience eating your rice and beans and your pastelillos. And I was like, Josie, we need her on the pod. And I DM'd you and I was like, oh, this is like a needle in a haystack. I hope she say yes and sees it. And you did, and you're here. So thank you.
Of course, what an honor. I mean, I'm always like head down, like work, the next thing, corriendo, like that, like something like this is just what I need sometimes. I just need to slow down and take a moment and just talk and chill and just like really enjoy the space that I'm in at the moment con otras personas que lo ven, lo saben, lo conocen. So I'm just stoked to be here.
That's awesome. And I'm glad that you said that about slowing down because your star is rising, right? And so I want to get into that. There's so
Pero espérate. Vamos a, yo quiero break el ice porque, okay, so
dale.
Amy, sorry, porque yo soy la que, con mis dos personalidades de Josie, Diane, tú me vas a escuchar que yo como que mi mente va a mil en 100. Pero yo tenía una pregunta, porque como aquí nosotros combinamos las cositas, y para los que no conocen, Amy es, voy a decir, una empresaria de la ciudad de Filadelfia y vamos a conocer su historia, claro está. Pero yo quería saber si tus pastelillos had a theme song, ¿cuál
If my
sería?
pastelillos had a theme song.
Ajá, ¿cuál sería?
Okay. if my pastelillos had, let me think about this. This is a good question. This is a really good question. See, the thing about the pastelillos is there's so many. And part of I'm gonna give you a very deep response. There's so many because some of them are like nostalgic, like man, el de carne, ¿no? El carne más tradicional. That brings a lot of people back. It's home, o la casa de la abuela, o la tía, o cuando antes lo cocinaba con alguien, cuando visitaron a Puerto Rico. So there's nostalgia there. So like when you bite it, you're gonna hear like como Frankie
Una
Ruiz.
salsa.
Yeah, you're gonna be like Puerto
Yes, eso
Rico.
es lo que yo quería escuchar. Porque es que así mismo es como que vamos en un ritmo o en como un journey, ¿verdad? De muchas canciones, de muchos géneros, because that's literally what, tú sabes, lo que yo sentí cuando yo probé uno de tus pastelillos, right? Y entonces por eso queremos conocer un poquito más. Y como dijo Wilma fue fangirling y rapidito stalk you on social media. Pero, y por eso queríamos saber un poquito más, right? Para que la gente conociera un poco más de dónde salió Amy's Pastelillos,
Sure.
cuál fue la inspiración y este movimiento, porque, o sea, yo te estudié un poquito, ¿verdad? De todas
Yeah.
las entrevistas que has hecho anteriormente y ver ese
Yeah.
crecimiento que tú has tenido en tan poco tiempo, ¿verdad? Ha
Mhm.
sido bien, bien impresionante. And, por eso queríamos saber un poquito más de
Yeah,
la
claro.
historia de Amy. So,
Sí.
Wilma,
Yes, Amy. Yes. So like Josie was saying, we want to know a little bit more about Amy's story. She's an entrepreneur. Her food is going to transcend you back to the island. Listen, I had her pastelillos with arroz con gandules, and you couldn't tell me somebody's abuelita was in the kitchen with her,
Oh,
okay? So yes, for those who are listening, we definitely want to talk a little bit about the background, her cooking story, the connection to the identity and
mhm.
heritage, and also her creative liberties that she takes with her mezclas for pastelillos. Guys, when you go look at her menu, I'm like, you put what in a what? And I want to try it. Give me two of
I
those.
love that.
So, without further ado, this was just me paraphrasing for those who might not have español fully, right? Because we got to be conscious, Josie, que no todos hablan español, but that doesn't make you any less Boricua. So, without further ado, Amy, let us know a little bit about that story, right? What inspired you, how you got here, and the connection to the identity and heritage. And again, like I said, the creative culinary liberties you take with the traditional as well.
Wow. Yeah, I'm happy to share my story. It's sometimes I find it hard to share the story because it's not, in my opinion, like a traditional trajectory, especially in this industry in hospitality. Most times people like work their way up. They like are inspired by cooking and like go to culinary school, or they just like the one time they went to a restaurant that changed their lives. Algo así. I don't have that story. I mean, I try. If you do some digging, you'll get like the real story, right? I think a lot of what uh, my story is it's more emotional. It's more personal in that I never in my life was I like I'm going to be in food. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to be cooking all the time and working the way that I am. That never was a vision that I had. Um,
wow,
and it came through finding connection, really. I was always into food. A mí me encanta salir a comer. I love when other people cook for me.
ay sí,
Uh,
¿verdad? Rico.
like I love that. But I also love and appreciate food. I like how people put food together. I like the creative um takes that people have on like ingredients and especialmente cuando es ingrediente puertorriqueña. Like when I see these like chefs putting these really crazy things together, I'm like, wow, like that really catches my eye. But that was just me. That was just a hobby, my interest. I was, you know, at the time I was doing marketing, I was doing PR, and events. Events were my thing. That was my vision. I was like, I want to do events. Like that was the goal in life for me was I want to do events, and I love food, so I can see myself moving into that. So I did. My career was moving into that direction. I was doing this big food event here in Philly, and I learned a lot doing that, right? Like, and that food event was like all at the time. This is pre-COVID. Era like 80 plus of the top restaurants in the city would come together, and they would have this big old party, and it was food and like high end food, and it was great, and I was like very I learned a lot. I was honored to be part of such a big deal, pero lo que siempre como on my back end me molestaba era like, ¿a dónde están los latinos? Where's like the Latin
Yeah.
representation? Why can't I see a like a Puerto Rican restaurant? That the 5 years I was there, I didn't see that. Una
Wow.
mexicana, maybe, and maybe a few Mexican restaurants, right? So that got always stuck in my head, like the representation for a city with so many Latinos, so many Boricuas is not
Yeah.
represented,
Yeah.
right? On that level. So that always stuck with me. But what really was like the catalyst to this was um, I had my first daughter, and at 8 months, my mom passed away, and
Oh,
I
Wow.
was
wow.
very close to her. She was the matriarch of the family. She was the one who cooked. Mami nunca me tenía en la cocina metía haciendo nada. I didn't learn a lot from mami porque mami era la cocinera. Tú entrabas,
What is that about? Like they
they
never want
never
us in the
want you in the
kitchen. Like
kitchen.
I feel like that's such a typical mom story. Like get
Get
out,
out,
you're
don't
not
touch.
helping. And I'm like, but how am I supposed to learn?
Right, right. And I didn't learn that until after. I'm like, yo, mommy se me fue, and I got no recipes, like no real hardcore recipes from mommy, right? So I had a
Wow.
really hard time with her. Like I felt so lost. I didn't know how to be a mom and come into my motherhood without my own mom around. And I struggled with that,
Wow.
right?
Wow, Amy, that's very, very, very deep. And thank you for
Yeah,
sharing that for those who may have lost a parent and also became a parent so quickly after. Like you're gonna be touching a lot of people's hearts with your
yeah, and
conversation.
that's what I mean. Like I don't parade this part of my story, but this is the reason I am here, right? So I lost mom and I had a hard time. I got, then I was pregnant again with a second child. Todavía bien perdida, like still trying to figure out how do I connect with mommy? How can I keep a connection? How like I felt very lost. Um, and now I'm pregnant and I have now two kids, right? So now I have my second child um, in May, and around that time, like this is something I don't share often, but for the sake of it, I hit postpartum heavy, and I think it was a lot of grief and a lot of just the emotional baggage that comes with having children. So I was really dark, like having a hard time with postpartum. Yeah, I mean, mommy, like I just remember being like, I'm not gonna be a good mom. I don't have guide. Like I was lost. I was lost.
Wow.
So I went through many things, through many cycles. I was like, y esto, y si me hago esto, and like I could just focus my time. I was doing like art, I was doing other projects, whatever. Pero siempre yo llegaba a la cocina, and I would just cook for like cook. Sometimes, if you're a parent, sometimes your hours and your days don't matter. So I would find myself like I put the girls to bed, and I'm just like, okay, voy a hacer esto. And sometimes I would just be, mira, voy a hacerle el arroz de mami porque yo no tengo la receta, and I'm just gonna cry my way through this, right? I'm gonna try to like find her recipes through nostalgia, through what I remember, and that was very important to me,
Wow.
you know. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did a lot of that, and I grieved a lot. I cried a lot, but in a way, I was like connecting because I'm like, I'm trying to find something I lost.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was gonna say, like, it was the way that you were able to connect, right? I really, really como que me puedo identificar con tu historia, porque pasé por algo bien similar.
Mhm.
Es bien interesante ver cómo algo que era tan de tu mamá, ¿verdad? Que era estar
Mhm.
en la cocina, es lo que te ayuda a poder grief de una manera, ¿verdad?
Exacto.
Y encontrarlo. Y qué mejor manera, ¿verdad? Que encontrarlo a través de la cocina
Yep.
y de la comida, que es something that we all share,
Mhm.
right? That brings people together. Y más a nosotros los latinos, que siempre que tú llegas a un sitio, lo primero que te dicen no es hola, te dicen, ¿quieres comer? ¿Comiste?
Siéntate,
¿No?
siéntate a comer. Yeah. ¿Quieres algo? Yep,
Yeah,
yep, yep, yep.
yeah.
That's our way of saying we
Right.
love you and we want
And
you to feel
welcome.
welcome.
Right, exactly.
But yes, and welcome, bienvenido. But yeah, wow, Amy, you really had a like water for chocolate moment for those who have read that story about Tita and all of her
The
emotions go into the
emotions,
food.
girl, the emotions. And I will tell you,
Yeah,
like,
wow.
there were dishes que mami hacía. Let me talk about mommy for a second, because when I talk about how she cooked, ella era cocinera, pero humble. Ella nació en Orocovi del Monte, like poor childhood. Ella sabía solamente dar. Y el don de ella era la comida. And so my dad was a pastor and she was a pastor's wife. And I think her real gift was that she would feed the amount of people she'd feed. She wouldn't just feed like five people, a couple she was feeding 50 plus people all the time. It was natural for her to just caldero
Wow.
todo grande. And she
Yeah.
killed it every time, so I'm like here watching her.
Wow.
Um so
Your mom gave a lot of love
yeah,
out, man. A lot of
really,
love
truly. And
through a
and
plate.
she
That's
fed
dope.
and healed through food, and I never saw that until I'm now an older person. I could look back and be like, that was her gift, right? And so they would go on mission trips, and like she would just be on the streets feeding. That was her job. She would feed, 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 as many people as they could. And so, and en casa, growing up, every Sunday, every Saturday, la casa esa estaba llena siempre de gente, and like constant feeding, constant giving, right? So that was her thing, and she did it, and she did it well. Um, so the connection there was just that. I was like, how can I still feel? How can I not lose you? And it wasn't food right away. That didn't click for me right away. But pastelillos is something that's very common, right? So like I would, I started to make pastelillos at home, right? My husband's like, "Oh, they're good. You should try to like make it for more people and or bring it to the party because that was good." I'm like, "Sure, everybody likes a pastelillo. No one's gonna say no to fried food." So I started bringing them to like our friends' birthday parties or like kid parties, like el traycito de pastelillo. Um, but he was a real important part here. He was the one, and again, he didn't catch it either. He just saw that, like, and maybe he did, and he just didn't tell me. But he's like, you should really try to take this out into the world. He's like, you should try to like sell them. And I was like, absolutely not. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm no cook. I didn't go to culinary school. I was not, this just wasn't my world. It was just something I like to do. It felt good. I liked that people liked it, and I would just do it for fun. I would do it for favors. Y eso. So, we're lucky in that, like I said before, my jobs were very food adjacent. So I knew some people who had businesses, and I knew a friend who had like a little kitchen in a bar, and he was looking for people to sell. So that was my first in. I was a favor from a friend. I was like, listen, if it sucks, it never happened. Like it never
Right, right.
happened. I'll pay you out or whatever.
Nothing to see
Let's
here.
give it a
Nothing
try.
to see here.
But I did my first pop up, and like it was all love. It was like all my family, my friends showed up. It was a lot of love, and I was like, wow, I can see why mom felt so touched because there's a reaction to it, right? People either enjoyed it, they had a feeling, and that felt good. I was like, wow, all right. And I kept trying. Now remember, I said my daughter was born in May. I probably did this in November. So I had a baby and a toddler. So my hands were already full. So I started doing the pop-ups like slowly. I remember being at a park, hype. I was like, I got 40 batalillos to sell. We're gonna do this. I sold like three. And I was the happiest like clam in the world. I was like, wow, like look at me, I'm doing this. Like I found some joy, I found some hope, and then I started realizing that like I can find the connection not just to mommy, pero to my culture. You know, I
Yeah.
was born here. Yo soy la única de somos cinco. Eh, yo soy la baby. I was the only one born here. Everybody was born on the island. So a mí siempre he sido la gringa de Philly. So I have a
Oh.
different perspective, right? Like I grew up in a straight up Puerto Rican household, no English. I didn't speak English until I got to school, but I'm still here. So like I didn't grow up on the island. I don't have that. We have family. We visit, claro, pero I'm from here. So the connection to the food and the culture, I'm like, man, yeah, I'm a mom. I gotta connect my kids. Let's keep this going. This feels good. So yeah, that's like how it got started. And I don't know, I'm just blessed with the people that have given me opportunities. I never was like, okay, look, I might start a business with this. I'm gonna do everything possible to find it. Like things just kept coming my way. And the invitations kept coming my way. Like, hey, you wanna come to my cafe and do a quick pop-up? Y lo hacía, and it was big. And then I would do it again, and it was big. And I'm like, what the hell? I don't know what's going on. I don't know how to handle this, but it's still touching people. And I think that was my motivator, is like that I could have talked to 40 people, but one person came up to me and was like, damn, this reminds me of abuela. And abuela's not around anymore.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, I feel that. And I feel
Wow.
like I need to keep doing that. Like, so for me, when I say it's personal, it feels
Same. I've
personal,
gotten that feeling through your
you know?
food. I've got that feeling through your food for
Um,
sure.
but again, I have like imposter syndrome so crazy. So I'm like, I don't know why people say this, but I feel like it's a little bit beyond me. I'm just kind of taking the journey and letting the universe take me on this journey, because I've learned that like when I want to do things, they don't happen the way. It's just life is just moving me in a direction that it wants to. And I'm going with the flow. Um, I will say that like 2020, when COVID happened, you know, at that point, I was considering it a hustle. Like, I wasn't worried about it. I was like, that being like, I have to homeschool. I gotta like wait to get back to work. Um, but people were very comfortable with getting pastelillos, because, the nature of pastelillos se frisan. Tú vas a sacar dos o tres, los cocinas, and then you still have, a few more. So, like, the lasting life of a pastelillo is feasible. And then during the pandemic, when nobody's trying to leave their houses, like, people would still hit me up for orders. So now I'm doing pastelillo like pickups. I'm dropping it at people's steps. People are coming to my house. A lot of people. I have so many people still that I've met on my doorstep, just because they came and picked them up, masks on, and we would just chat outside, because I can't. I'm a chatty person,
Wow.
So so I built so many relationships with that, and those people, those friends, that they're friends at this point, like they still come and support me. They're like, it's just amazing, this journey and how it's happened. But anyway, COVID got like, I grew in COVID because of what it was. And I'll say this, and I've always said this, like I was taking this project step by step and very slow, because I wanted to grow with my kids. It's still very important to me that I'm a mom first and not a business person. So
Yeah.
that's really hard to do. I think no one cares about that, because they're like, your hours are crazy. But most of the reason I'm open for lunch is because I want to clock out and go pick my girls up at school, and I want to spend time with them. Period. That's it. So my
Absolutely.
business
Yeah.
model is not even like a normal one, and probably not beneficial for me financially, but it's important to me that like this.
I love the
Yeah,
boundary.
I'm
I love it.
trying.
Exacto,
I'm
exacto.
trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying my
Y
best,
es
but
un challenge, right? Es a big challenge at the same time. Porque tú te gusta lo que estás haciendo, vino de una pasión,
exacto,
y
exacto.
que quieres seguir creando y creativamente, guys, you have to. If you're in Philly, you have to do a stop. So tengan, o sea, tienen que always look at Amy's Instagram para que sepan las horas, para que puedan disfrutar de la comida, because the way that you have, creative, o sea, has hecho algo. Bueno, mi hermano, estaba hablando con mi hermano hoy y estábamos hablando de todo. And I mentioned, hey, I have, we're recording today and I have this person. And I was like, if you see these bowls, I was like, esto es como que, like, el perfecto como la perfecta portion que cualquier persona quiere tener. And then I share your Instagram with him, and he was like, can you tell her that I have to go in and I have to try all those because they look amazing?
Yes, yes, he
But
should. He should. He should
¿De
come
dónde
in.
sale esa creatividad? O sea, yo sé que, you were working in PR, you were in marketing, if I heard right.
Yeah.
Um, ¿De dónde salió la idea de esta creatividad, verdad? Porque has tenido, en el poco tiempo, como tú dices, you have put that boundary, perdona mi Spanglish, pero ese boundary que tú has tenido y te ha ayudado, yo
Mhm.
creo que un poco más a la creatividad,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I don't think it was intentional, but I do think about it, right? And I'm gonna kind of go back to what I started with, which was um representation. I I'm born and raised here. Yo conozco la comida Boricua. I mean that's where I grew up, right? And we're siloed, which is okay. Pero I was like, listen, I'm gonna take a risk. And if I mess it up, I mess it up. That's what risks are for. If it fails, it fails. That's why risks are for, right? Like, I'm not coming in here as a business person. I'm coming in here to just shake it up a little bit. And I think at the time, pop ups were kind of new and there weren't a lot of Puerto Rican pop ups. And when I tell you, when I started moving our food around the city, because yo no tenía el este local hasta el año pasado. So I was kitchenless. I would move around. That was my MO. Like I would book when I could as a mom. So I would do a few pop-ups a month, and catering. ¿Verdad? Like catering came later. Pero when I was like, I'm going to South Philly. Let me tell you que los boricuas en South Philly salieron. And they're like, yo,
Mhm.
we need this here. Me voy para West Philly. Los boricuas de West Philly. Yo, we need our food out here. So I started seeing that, like, first of all, we're everywhere. And
Literally everywhere.
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 um, and I was like, oh, okay. So there's a market for this type of concept. If you know what a pastelillo is, great. Like, you're gonna be excited porque lo conoce, aunque se llame empanadilla, empanada, lo que tú quieras,
Y eso era
lo conoce.
era una de mis preguntas, era una de mis preguntas.
Chica, I know that's on your question list.
you
I
you
know
you
it's
know,
coming.
because we've had battles here as well.
But I just noticed that, right? Like, there was a desire outside of the North Philly area, because there's Puerto Rican food everywhere in North Philly. Um, and just a few sprinkled outside, right? So I was like, okay, so there's a need.
Right,
And
right.
then I don't know, I'm telling you,
And Amy, really, really
yeah,
quick, for those who don't know, like the Puerto Rican community, especially North Philly, like North Fifth Street, like that's a huge insulated like Puerto Rican community,
correct.
right? But I wanted to go back to the creativity. So I want to tell listeners, especially if you're like in the tri-state area and can get to Amy's, and for those who are listening in Albuquerque
Hi, hey,
or
what's
in Rio
up?
Piedras. Hola. Let me just name a few of her like her amazing, like, again, the world of how she thinks. You got your shredded chicken, you have your ground beef and picadillo, but then she can hit you with some guava barbecue pork, a truffle mushroom and cheese if you're feeling fancy,
Ew.
a soy chorizo and potato for the vegans, right? And then I've even seen like maduros and arroz con gandules inside of pastelillo, and I'm like, wait, what is going on here? And why don't I have two in my face right now? But that's what we mean by like the level of creativity, and it's good. It's good. It's so good. And so I also wanted to connect, like, while you're saying, like, yeah, I went to South Philly, I went to West Philly. What you're saying is you're finding
Yeah,
community through food.
exactly.
You're building community through food. And for those in the diaspora, we talk about this a lot on the pod. Like, those are the things that we hold on to, right? Like you said, you weren't born on the island, neither was I. Um, and so I see myself in your story. I was raised here in the States, raised in Camden, New Jersey, but you couldn't tell me it wasn't little Puerto Rico with us speaking
Right.
Spanish in home
Mhm.
and,
Mhm.
and all of the customs. So again, food, music, all those traditions, and those are the things that bring us together. But like, it's so dope how you were able to be like, all right, I'm gonna go on a whim. I'm gonna go here, and hey, people show up and support. I'm gonna go here, people show up, and so that's so cool to see how you're like moving in spaces and building yourself up. Like, I think we talked a little bit about on the pre-pod call, like anybody can sell you food.
Mhm.
Anybody can sell you something. It's very few that you want to go back to and be like, I want to know more about you and your story.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that that's also like the biggest like thing from today's pod is I wanted to know more about your story when I tasted your food. I'm like, whoa, there's something here, like, I wanna know more. I just wanna sit here and talk to you, like, you know what I mean? So, like, when I introduced Josie and we went and had a continued conversation, and even on the pod pre-call, that's what I was saying. I'm like, "You have something, you have un don, una bendición through the culinary that you're experiencing." So, I just want to, like, I didn't want tonight to go out without saying that to you as well.
I really appreciate that. I really do because I will tell you, I keep saying this, it's personal. So when it's personal, it's also really hard to put your stuff out, right? Because I'm not out here to make money. I'm not out here to be anything fancy. I'm just like, I really like this idea and I hope you like it. And I put it out into the world, right? But then when people don't like it, I'm also like, oh, that hurts my soul. So it's very personal, but again, I felt the need to do it. And when it comes to like back to the creative parts, at the time I wasn't thinking, hey, let me be creative. It was more like if I'm going to be outside of the realm of Puerto Ricans and I'm putting myself in communities that might not want me there, might not care for me, will push me away, might say, I'm going to take that risk. But if I'm going to do that, I'm going to present it in a fresh way. Right. And that was something that when I started thinking about, especially the space, I was like, I want to be very Puerto Rican and very bright and very colorful, like every other place, but without all the flags. You know what I mean? I want to be proud and like loud without all the flags because I want to look at, like, I just want to mix it up. I was just like, I want to make it a little fresh. And if you come to the spot, it's bright, very pink. There's pink everywhere. um, but my whole goal was like, I want you to come into my cocina. I want you to walk into my living room. Y ahí tengo todas las matas, hay retrato de mami, there's something to see. Like there's things everywhere to look at in this small little space. And the way I presented the food was important to me too, right? Like that's why like the bowls. The bowls are pollo guisado y arroz blanco. Like it's nothing crazy. It's not like a new thing. It's just that I was like, I want our humble, beautiful, amazing food to look pretty. I want it to be looked at like, wow, como esta gente allá, that we don't have a space at the table at. You know what I mean? So at one point in time, I was like, I'm going to start making a way and finding a way to that culinary table. And it's not because of me. If it's not me, it's pushing another person, another chef, anybody to the table because aquí en Filadelfia, aquí hay boricua everywhere, donde que vaya, aquí hay boricua. And so when you tell me that we have a food event and there's no Puerto Ricans, we're not doing it right. You know what I'm saying? So it's very important for me to
Yeah,
like push that envelope
Right. The outreach isn't
yeah,
the outreach isn't happening because
because
we're
we're here.
here.
We've been here. we have been here. So like it was very, I was like, what if we mix it up, we shake it up, let's see what happens. And again, I'm situated in Fishtown, which is not Puerto Rican, you know, and I'll say this now because I've been there for a year and a half, but I had this whole plan. I don't know if you know that outside of my building is a little small little space, small little takeout spot, but it's pink and very bright pink and white. Um, yo tenía la idea de ponerle like flores and design and like cookies or something outside. And I was like, you know what, Amy, chill, because this isn't your community, like what if they don't accept you? What if this is not gonna be for you and they mess up the walls and like, you know what I mean? Like that was the way I was looking at this. I was like,
Wow.
yo, it's a big risk. I'm putting my own personal stuff. I mean, when I tell you hyperventilation before I open that door, happened a lot. Um, but I wanted to, I wasn't, I could just kept pushing it, right? Like, I'm just gonna try it. I'm gonna try it and let's just hope for the best. Um, so while it looks really good on paper, it was also very hard because I was taking those risks at my own expense, right? At my own personal stories expense, at my, my I almost sometimes say like at my mom's stories expense. But I felt the need. I think there was a part of me, and I think that goes back to my career, um, to make our food important and to make us have a voice and to have representation. So um, I'm hoping for that. Like I feel like we've gotten a lot of traction, we got a lot of attention. Like that's cool to like um, to even say that like it was intentional to put pastelillos in the name and not say Puerto Rican food or something dumbed down. It's like if you didn't have my food, you're also gonna learn how to say it, and we're gonna help you say it, and we're gonna, you know what I mean? Like,
I love
I
that.
love
I
that.
love
Yes,
that.
yes.
I love that. Because if you can say Daenerys from Game of Thrones, you can say
for
Pastelillos.
a long time I was like, if you can say chilaquiles, right? You know what chilaquiles is like? It's a Mexican dish, but people say it now, right? Like if you can say something that
Right, right.
complicated, you can say pastelillo, and if you can't, let me walk you through it. But it's important for us that if you're gonna come have our food, that you should also learn about it. So
I absolutely love that. And Amy, yes, your space is very homey. I was able to go there to pick up food and again, la plantita, the little
the
trinkets and
trinkets,
chasquis everywhere. Yes,
very
I
abuela
love
house.
it. And I was just like, yes, I was like, it's, and mind you, we lost our matriarch, our grandmother, almost 3 years ago. And
I'm
I was just like,
sorry.
when I saw the little trinkets, I was like, this is her. Like she always had little things around. And I was like, I'm in somebody's abuelita's house. I love this. I love the nostalgia that you're giving. Again, that tied to the community, that tied to the culture is super, super dope.
I also wanted to mention is that, like, you know how you were saying that, como que tú querías be seen, right, in a sense. Y yo creo que tú lo has hecho a través de allowing the food to do that part, right?
Yes.
Like you mentioned, you know, tú mencionaste como like no me gusta tener muchas banderas, ¿verdad? Porque estoy en un área donde pues I don't know how I'm going to be perceived. And the fact that you have allowed your
Mm.
food to say so much, ¿verdad? I think that's what's amazing about the story too. Porque todo el mundo, yeah, como tú dices, pastelillo, claro que sí. Es una palabra
For sure,
que
for
I feel
sure.
like everybody's gonna like be able to say it. But making it homey, making it um, que la gente se sienta comfortable al entrar, ¿verdad? Porque es como si estuviera en la casa de mi abuelita, right? O en casa de un familiar. And it gives you that connection back to the culture. And for people that don't know the culture, they have that first como impression, y es tan cozy, tan acogedor, tan inviting, que yo creo que eso es lo que ha hecho también que Amy Pastelillo sea lo que es Amy Pastelillo, right? So yo quería decir eso porque escuchando tu historia, es like, wow, like the food does speak so much, en tu historia. That is amazing to hear.
Yeah, and I struggle even with you you both complimenting. Like, again, like I have the hardest time. Like, yo no te puedo vender mi comida. Like, I'm the worst networker. I'm the worst, like, self promoter. Like, that's just not, I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't think I'm the best cook
Amy,
at
no.
all. Like,
Amy,
I
no.
don't,
Listen,
but that's when I'm like, the universe is like taking me here because it's like, I don't see that it's me. Like, I think there's just something that's driving this. And I want to say that, like, things happen that I'm just like, I don't know how these things are happening to me and they're coming to me because who am I?
listen, Amy, we are recording on 12/4. We only have so many few days in the month and in the year. In 2026, I need you to purchase audacity, okay? Because you deserve it. You deserve to be out here like, now this food is good. Okay. But I also feel like that's probably also part of your blessing, that level of humility también, right? Like, I think that that's also probably one of your like secret ingredients that it's like, just try it, right? I'm not
Exactly.
going to sell you
Yes.
this. Try it for yourself. But I need you to know that when you see yourself in the mirror in the morning and I don't know if you do your affirmations, but tell yourself you that girl because you
Oh,
are.
one day I'll get there one day. I really struggle with that. And like, and it's not, it is. I think it's just that, like, I, I just, I just wanted to do it because I felt in my soul that I needed to move forward with this project, right? That I needed to move forward and move it because the way that this is growing, it just for me just seems crazy. Like, it's just constantly snowballing and it hasn't stopped since I started. You know, like, it's just like growing and growing and getting bigger, bigger, bigger. And I feel, and I'm not, I'll be the first one to be like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. You know, I don't have, I'm learning as I go, obviously, and I learn from my mistakes and I learn from feedback. I'm super open when people are like, eso no me gustó por estas razones. Great. I like that. I'm really good and receptive to that. Pero I'm like, I've never ran a business. I don't know what I'm doing. You know, like, I get invited to do like collaborative events. At this point, that's what I'm doing a lot of. It's like a lot of events, and everyone just, I feel like everyone has this trust in me to do these things, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I live in that a lot, and hopefully, yeah, I trust me. Everybody, my girlfriends, everybody's like, girl, you need to just stop. But I do struggle with that, and I'm not shy about that either. You know, I'm low key. I'm low key about the whole thing. So I feel super honored. I'm super honored to be on a podcast talking about my food. Come on, like, um
We're so happy that you're
so
here.
Yes.
And thank you for that level of vulnerability. I think a lot of people don't hear that from people doing like the thing like you said, like I had an inclining, I had to do it and I'm still doing it and snowballing and I'm going with it and I'm work you're really explaining the tools to get this done, right? But like you're like, I don't really know have a name for it. But it is so dope to have that vulnerability to be on display because I feel like the social medias of the world will say you have to be this polished, put
right,
together, experienced individual,
right.
and that's not the case, right? Like you're saying, you're learning as you're going, as you're building, and people need to hear that too, right? Like that too is a way to success.
100%. 100%. You know, I learned a lot when I was kitchenless and I was popping up and like moving. I learned how to build a kitchen real quick. You know, I learned that. I learned how to problem solve real quick. The first thing that will happen at a pop up is que like the fryer doesn't work. I'm sure that happened at Chewy, que se me va la luz, que se me olvidó algo, like
You literally was like, "Hey, I'm gonna give you this rice, but the generator went out." I looked at you. I was like, "Girl, we don't care about that temperature. Give me the food."
Meanwhile, I'm stressed. I'm like telling my team, I was like, yo, we can't serve this food. Y nadie le importaba. They're like, just give me food. I'm like, all right, that's okay. But you know, it's taught me how to be on my toes and problem solve. The shop was a whole different beast. And again, let me be very clear. The shop is a lunch spot. We're only open for lunch. We don't have seats. So it's all very small still, right? Like the scale of this is very small, but that first year was growing pains for sure. Like that first year was very hard. Um, and scaling up was crazy. I did not expect to open the way that we did. En verdad, I think I told you this last time. When I opened my doors, yo pensaba que me iba a tener una sillita, maybe one other person. La sillita era para mí, so I could just sit at the counter and read my little magazines and let like three or four people come in. You know, like I thought this thing would be so chill. And it's not. You know, it's a roller coaster, and it's great. I find myself in that space. Yo cocino sola muchas veces, and I'm just like, mommy está ahí conmigo. And sometimes I'm stopped and I'm like, I don't even know. I have no idea how I got here. I have no idea why I'm sitting in this
I love
room.
that.
And I just power through. You know, I still some of the hardest days are the days where I'm like, I'm gonna make mommy's dish. And those are the hardest ones because I'm like, I'm gonna cry through this, but it's gonna. I know it's gonna taste good. Those are the days where I'm like, I think it's gonna taste good because now I'm putting in my like raw grief, my soul. You know, I'm like sitting there trying to find her, and I find her. You know, um. So I don't know. It's beautiful. It's crazy. It's fun. It's not fun. Incredibly stressful, overwhelming. All of that, all in one big ball. Um, and I mostly live in that space. And I have a hard time looking up to see what you guys are seeing. You know, like I never really have time to just enjoy it or see it for what it is. You know.
Wow, Amy. I'm still stuck on and sometimes I find her. That drop the mic right there. That was beautiful. Wow. Um ooh, not to get me emotional.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
Yes, yo estoy aquí como que, like, speechless, right, in a way, because es como que es bien impresionante que a veces no como Wilma
Mhm.
dice, ¿verdad? Que nosotros queríamos saber más sobre tu historia, porque nosotros no sabemos lo que, tú sabes, los pequeños negocios, the people that are starting a business, they go through and they have a story. And 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 your story is like, like amazing en el sentido de que cómo, like, how your business comes to light, right? Or to life. Y, y esa conexión, porque es todo a través de una conexión,
Mhm.
conexión con, your grieving, con tu mamá, con la cultura, y your boundaries that you're putting, like, eso es
Mhm.
amazing que mucha gente escuche que a veces nosotros vivimos para trabajar, ¿verdad? And I think it's amazing how you're able to put that
Mhm.
boundary there y say, no,
I
no, no,
know.
espérate, es de esto a esto. ¿Lo quiere o lo deja? You know what I mean? And the fact that that's what's been helpful, right? Para que sea lo que es. Y lo grande que, first of all, podemos hablar un poquito de los sauces que tú haces.
Yeah.
Because, come on, come on. Cuando yo veo tuve la oportunidad de probar las sauces con los pastelillos, y yo dije like, wow, like, this is very, very, yo creo que mayoría de la gente, like, who eat a pastelillo with, like, mayo ketchup,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And I think that whereas your creativity, I think, or no sé si estoy poniendo palabras en tu boca, pero it's like that creativity that you did mezclando estas sauces que creaste una sauce, que es la de parcha,
Mhm.
¿verdad? Es como
Yeah,
parcha.
la palchita.
Y eso fue lo más que me parchita, yeah. ¿Cómo eso cómo llegaste a to create that? Because that's a different, yeah, it's part of like your kitchen journey, ¿verdad? Y todo esto, pero ¿cómo, like, how do you get to instead of using mayo ketchup, that it would have been easier, right? ¿Cómo llegas a crear estas sauces?
Yeah, the hot sauce was fun. Like when I was los pastelillos me llegaron los sabores like over time. Like some of them I worked on, I would do it sometimes, and then like over time I kept refining them. Las recetas me estaban llegando más mejores. Like I was getting there. And then I was just like, sauce for this outside of mayo ketchup would be great. Yo siempre quería, y yo los hacía sometimes at pop-ups, pero cogía un tiempo. Y cuando yo te digo que like, las cosas me llegan a mí, again, I didn't start Googling how to like find a hot sauce maker. A mí me llegó un muchacho aquí en Philly, un dominicano that was making hot sauce. And I can't remember how we met because now we're like homies, a very close friend. Pero
Shout out to the domies. Shout out to all the
he's like, yo, I'm
domies.
making hot sauce. And I was like, for real, man. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. You make hot sauce. And I was like, you want to make a hot sauce with me? I was like, can I make a hot sauce? And he's like, yeah, man, vamos, vamos. So I always wanted, like, that was really exciting for me. And the panchita has been around probably like 2, maybe 3 years. And again, another thing that I haven't like quite celebrated that I have a product that can sit on a shelf, like,
That's what I was saying, right,
like,
exactly. That's what I'm saying, like, que, hello, nosotros tenemos aquí, a alguien que tiene un producto, tiene su propio negocio y a través you're giving a blueprint, ¿verdad? En lo que tú has podido hacer y sin dejar de ser tú, sin, como tú dices, poniendo esa, tú eres mamá y estás poniendo de que no, mi familia es primero. Like, it's seeing all that, that's where I'm like, wow, like, I need to know cómo ella hizo esto, porque it's a
girl,
lot.
sometimes it's a lot. I will tell you, I don't sleep. And now I'm like, that's the balance when you're talking about self-care, like that's the balance I'm trying to find now, un año y medio después. Pero like it was running around the clock. The hot sauce not so much because at that time, I think when I made it, I didn't have this shop. So I made it más con calma. Este muchacho me ayudó. He had a production facility. He was making his own hot sauce. So yo vine un día, cocinamos una vez, dos veces. Yo hice la receta, and now he bottles it for me. So like, it's the production. I bought like 36 cases the last time of hot sauce. So like,
Wow.
there's production there now. Pero el proceso fue tan natural. And again, it was like at my feet, like, and this is what I'm saying, that like I don't have the control. I don't have the control. And when things happen and they come, it's like I guess I have to do that. I think I have to do that. And sometimes when it's me pushing it, like I need to do that. Like no me trabaja. Pero cuando son las cosas así que me vienen a mí, I'm like, oh, okay, then I guess that's we're gonna make hot sauce. So I always wanted to make. A mí me encanta la balcha. La balcha de lo que sea, give
A
it
mí
to me.
también.
Same.
I don't care.
Same. In every
Give
way.
it to
In
me. I'm
every
gonna eat it.
form.
And my daughter's the same way now, but in any form. You got maracuya or whatever. Like I'm like, yes, give it to me. Yes, I want it. So I was like, I've always wanted to make a palcha sauce because I think that's like a such a nice representation of Puerto Rican fruit, right? Like that's just something that feels so typical for us. So we played with that. Um, and as we made it, I was like, listen, Puerto Ricans don't like heat, so like we gotta tone it down. Like we don't, I don't need it to be super hot. It's just give it some
Yeah.
heat to complement all the meats. So it's been part of our menu since. Like it sells really well, goes really well, and I'm really happy and very proud of that one. The other sauces that we have, I think a little bit of that was like, how can we make this a little bit different? Like, if you go to a papi store, like you're not gonna get sauces. Maybe you might, but most times you don't get any sauce with a pastelillo. So if they're gonna be the star of the show, like let's give them a sidekick, right? So like sauces are now for us, like you can't leave without a sauce. So I think two other ones came in when I opened the shop. Uno es de culantro ajo. And again, it was like important to me to highlight and showcase our ingredients, right? So aquí está la palcha, aquí está el culantro. I'm like, sure, it could be cilantro or close, pero when you're saying que es culantro, then we can have that conversation about recao and how important it is for
Yeah.
us in the
Mhm.
Caribbean. You know what I mean? Like it's a conversation. And then the other one, that's where it was like that's the whole creative side. I was like, what do people like? Ranch. I hate ranch. Um, but I was like, people like ranch. So I was like, how can we make this fun? And I kept playing with it. I kept playing with it. And I figured out to make a coconut ranch because again, el coco de la isla. So, um, while that's like a good representation of my experience as a diaspora Rican, right? Like, I,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
am. That's very American, but let's put the Puerto Rican twist on that. So I think a lot when we talk about like all the specials or the more different pastelillos, that's the mindset I have. I'm like, yeah, sure, let's make a Italian sausage, but how are we gonna make it Puerto Rican? Like, how can we influence some of those ingredients or swap some of those ingredients with our ingredients because they're already in the house. So when we do specials, that's kind of my favorite part is to like come up with new things because it allows me to think that way. Like, because I live in these worlds. I grew up
Right.
here and I'm
Yeah.
from there. Ni de aquí ni de allá. Like,
Y tiene los dos de los
de
dos
los dos,
lados.
right?
Yeah.
Porque
Yeah.
voy para allá, me dicen que no soy de allá. Estoy aquí, me dicen que no soy de aquí. So, like, that's the diaspora mentality. Um, but it's my experience. So I like to also do that. So, like, obviously, cheesesteak is on, in a pastelillo, because Philly.
But
Um,
of course, we need to have a
and a lot of
cheesesteak
the
one,
times when
of
we do
course.
stuff, like I try to blend, but I mean, naturally, I've thought that for a long time. People are like,
Really?
why aren't you doing cheesesteak? And I'm like, because we don't eat cheesesteak. We go get a cheesesteak. Yeah, because it's like, come on, and go get a cheesesteak up the street. Oh, but no, I started putting that on the board, and I can't. They sell fast, and they sell fast, which is so funny. Uh, but a lot of that, yeah, the more like the things you don't see on the menu or they come up just for specials, those are just us having fun or just being like shaking up my brain sometimes because like I keep saying like I get stuck dale, like the next thing because we're very busy. That it's nice to just stop real quick and just think about something different and how can we really highlight our Puerto Rican ingredients in a fun way.
Well, I know how because I stalked your Instagram and did I see a big caldero of coquito being made?
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
Yes,
interesting.
I have to make 40 bottles for an order
Yo,
and
that's crazy.
I've been making coquito around the clock. It's coquito season. Yeah, coquito. Oh, you know what else I wanted to share? Because I wanted to share this because this is also very important and very meaningful for me when you say caldero. Um, Cuando mami falleció, I stayed with all her stuff, right? Ella era cocinera y ella tenía todos like los calderos bien grandes. And I have those. And I
Wow,
cook out of them.
wow.
And I still do.
She really is
And
in the
Wow.
like I'm
kitchen with
like
you,
anyone
bro.
who
Like
comes in
she's
new, I'm
really
like
in
this.
there with you.
You can mess up the whole place. Yes, yes, yes. So I use her pots. Um, and I used to tell that story a lot, especially with pop-ups, because I felt that so deep. I'm like, mommy is still out here cooking for y'all. Like it's not me. I think she's still out here cooking for the masses, you know, con esa olla. And yeah, I cook in her olla almost every day.
Amy, the tissues are not close enough for me right now. Stop. But keep going. No,
Yeah, I
that's
meant to say that
beautiful.
because that's a big part of it. It's a big part of it that she's there. She's definitely
No,
there.
that's beautiful.
And I give her all of the successes. Is I really do think it's my
I
mom.
wanted to pivot a little bit. Again, wow, beautiful. Whew, calofrío. Do you allow yourself to sit and be like, okay, en un año, this is what I want? Because I know you've said like, when I want something, como que no me sale, but when things come to me, I just go with it. But do you allow yourself for a moment to be like, this is what I would want for Amy's Pastelillos in a year, or I'm gonna experiment a little bit different here, or again, is your model just simply as it comes, y ya?
That's a really good question because I think I would I wouldn't be fair saying that no, that it's just like it comes in, like I let it go. A lot of it is like a lot of things now I do have to like focus more on because there's too much. Now there's too much at my doorstep, right? So now it has to be like que la ruta que debo coger. But what I will do, and I do this every year. I've been doing this for at least, I think this will be my fourth year. In January I take a trip and I go by myself, and I know that's very selfish, but I learned this from my friend. He was like, "Mami siempre va por Puerto Rico sola, y eso siempre la ha ayudado. Like she always comes back new." And I never let that go because when I first took a trip, I went to meet my best friend. Ella es colombiana, and we went to Colombia. Y yo
Mm.
me fui sola, right? Like I had kids, but I was like, hubby, I think I'm gonna take this one on my own, you know? And it was so good for me and so healing for me and like a recharge. And I had time to just sit with myself and focus on what I wanted to do and not just like in this job, pero en casa, con like my relationships, qué lo que está pasando en mi familia, like what I need to do, like you know, like just have time. So for the last couple of years, I've been going to Puerto Rico, um, and I go to relax and unplug, but I also go to work. And every year since I left to Colombia, I set goals for myself for the year. Um, that are the things that like here's the short things, like these are the people I might want to work with this year, like these are like conversations someone said, hey, I mean we should do something together, and I'm like, okay, note it, like let me try to make that happen. um but I set some goals for myself, and I think that helps on a general scale to be like, first of all, let me look what I just went through in this last year, because I never focus on celebrating what's happening and I just keep moving on. So I take some time to like think about it and be like, oh snap, like I did this in February and this in April. But setting goals is helpful for me, because when I attain them, that's when I really stop and I'm like, wow, I hit that goal. Like those are the times that I actually stop and I look up and I'm like, oh, I did that. I did that. So I do like take time to evaluate what happened, what can I do better, and then set the goals for the year. So I'm going to Puerto Rico in January, otra vez, and I'm doing that. And I
Wepa,
love
I love that. Llévame, llévame. I just came back earlier in November.
it. I know, I was jealous. You're like, oh,
I
I just
love
landed
this
in
for
Puerto
you,
Rico.
friend. I absolutely love that, but I also love that messaging. The pod before this one that came out, we recapped like my solo trip that I had took to Puerto Rico, and it is like there's just something about going, disconnecting, and being like, okay, every day that I'm here, exactly what is it that I want to do? Currently I'm not a parent, but the world is a lot, and there's a lot of times where I think just women in general do a lot for a lot of people,
Hmm.
and it's very rare that we sit
Yep.
down and just for a moment of
Hmm.
the day be like, what is it that I wanted to do today? What is it that I wanted a little piece for me today? So when you solo travel, you only have to worry
Hmm.
about yourself, right? And I know you said selfish, but sometimes selfish doesn't always have to have that negative connotation. Like it's important to have something for yourself, because
Yeah.
if you give all of yourself away, entonces. So I love that you do that. I listeners, por favor, book that solo trip. I'm telling you, it's necessary. You come back floating on a cloud.
It's necessary. Really, truly, really, truly. And I come back recharged, I really do. And with ideas and or like more focused, um, definitely more focused. Eh, I opened last March. I would tell this story. I opened last March y fui pa Puerto Rico en enero. I had a really hard time opening my shop, and because of landlords, that's a whole nother story for another day. Pero it was January, and I'm like, I gotta open this shop already. I gotta open the shop. And I went back and forth, like, um,
um, am I really gonna paint that wall pink in Fishtown? Am I really gonna do that? Like I struggled with that. I know it's like right now it don't matter. Like I don't even see pink anymore, but I struggled. Right. So I'm in Puerto Rico, estoy con mi primo, una amiga, who came out for Sanse, and we're out there, having fun. And he has the pictures. I'm sitting there and I'm just sitting on the stoop in Viejo San Juan, and I look up and I'm like, this is the pink. This is it. And then I came home a week later, that wall was pink. Like we're like, inspiration. That wall needs to kind of Philly with me, and it's the pink from that moment. So, I found so much inspiration, especially right before I opened. Like, um, mi amiga que antes vivía aquí se mudó para Puerto Rico. Ella, um, she was out there too at the same time. So I'm like, girl, you got a car? Take me around because I want to go like vintage shopping for the shop. Like I want to get a lot of like little trinkets and stuff que venga de la isla. And we spent the whole day. Um, and it turned out that like she was going to be she was a writer, and she's like, "Hey, before we went to Puerto Rico, I'm sorry, I'm like sidetracking, but she's like, "Hey, before we met in Puerto Rico, she's like, I'm doing this project, and it's due tomorrow. Like, I need to do an interview. Can I interview you?" And I'm like, "Sure, I don't care, interview me, right?" So she's interviewing me about the business and whatnot. Months later, like right before Puerto Rico, before I get there, she's like, "Hey, the teacher of the course is the editor at Philly Mag, and they want to run your story."
Wow.
And I'm like, "What?" Okay. And I'm like, "Girl, I'm about to open a store." So she's like, "Meet me in Puerto Rico. Vamos a pasar el día junta," which was fine because I was like, I had my goals for like just getting my little trinkets. And pasamos todo el día junta. So she's asking me other questions, and like we had real conversations. She got my real story. And I was like, I want you to be the one who breaks the story, like, who puts it out there. And that, like, it blew my mind that una mujer, una boricua, was the one who, like, wrote in the city, like, the Inquirer, an Inquirer story to share that we were open. And, like, again, I don't
That's
know how
so
these things
cool.
happen for me.
So cool.
I can't tell you how these things happen for me, but I had such a lovely time in Puerto Rico. Came back so inspired. We turned that space around real quick, and then we opened with this big story. Abrimos 2, 3 meses con fila every day.
Wow.
I don't know how to process that. Like I don't know how to process that.
That is just beautiful. Because it's to see como las cosas van pasando poquito a poquito, right? Pero sí, sin tú, like, saber de dónde están saliendo, like, why is this happening?
Why?
Um, yeah, exactly, right? And seeing that is like, wow. Y nada más, like, para las personas que don't know, like, the Philly Inquirer is one of the newspapers in Philadelphia, uno de los más grande, o el más grande, puedo decir, right?
Yeah.
In Philly. And the fact that, you have your launch of your store, como un article en este periódico is like, this is amazing. It's amazing. Yo creo que una de las cosas que, like, talking to you today, it's been like so como inspiring, right? In so many ways, because seeing how, you mentioned how you connected to your culture, to your heritage, right? Your mom, and it's so inspiring porque eso es lo que nosotros queremos hacer aquí, ¿verdad? Que la gente conecte con eso. And sometimes no conectamos hasta when we're adults, right? Um, y es tan impresionante ver cómo Wema estaba comentando previously, is like, it's different ways that we can connect, and food is like the one that
Yeah.
has made that for you.
Yeah.
Y me inspiraste a mí, of course. Porque yo lo digo, oh, solo trip? Okay, I think
Yes,
I need to
girl.
put that on the list.
Yes, girl.
So we can get inspired, and continue ¿sabes? Ver que como mujeres, we
Mhm.
can do it, right? Not putting any limitations. You're doing it little by little. You're like, okay, I'm going with it. Y en every challenge that have encountered, you're like, okay, vamos a ver cómo lo vamos a resolver, lo resolvemos, right? And I think that's what has made your business successful, and at the same time, right, it's a resiliency que you have built. Yo lo que quiero decir es que estoy bien inspirada. I'm gonna think about that self trip, right, y a
Do
poner
it.
ese goals because we're at the end of the year, right. We have muchas cosas para poner en esa lista, en esos goals.
Exacto, exacto. Y you know what? Like, I do think that, like, speaking it into the earth, like just saying that esto las cosas que tú quieres o que quieren que pasen, like that does work, you know? I'm like, I'm not gonna be like on Instagram, like, hey world, these are my goals. It's not like that's not what I'm saying, but like I was like, I'm gonna attain them. I'm gonna tell myself these are the things I want, and I'm gonna go for them, you know? And I just keep telling myself that's like a mantra, I guess, that like, okay, esto va a pasar. Lo voy a buscar y es que quiero que pase, va a pasar. Like una de my goals this year, which I thought was never gonna happen, that I was gonna do a pop-up. Who am I? I'm so little and I'm so new. And I'm like, yeah, Amy,
That
let's do
is
a
so
pop-up in
cool. That's
Puerto
so
Rico.
badass. I love that.
Y lo logré. Y lo logré.
That's
You know?
awesome. That's awesome.
And I still am like, I don't know how, but it happened. And es que las bendiciones, like, they just keep coming. And yes, and I know I'm saying this in a positive way. Vienen bendiciones, pero también vienen muchas hardships y dolores de corazón and like stress and all that. That also is part of that. Um, but when you get to that those goals or attaining things or just seeing successes that you didn't think but you deserve or belong to you, but they come to you, you can't help yourself to but ask why, and appreciate it in a way that, like, I don't know. It just makes it more heavy, and it makes it more powerful when you're like, wow, that we did that. We did that.
Wow, that's amazing. Bueno, Amy, I just want to, before we close out for the night, I want to make sure that, you let people know where they can find you on your socials, your website, things of that nature. And if you have anything upcoming, I just want to let you know that I checked my YouTube and I follow a certain foodie and he came to your store. So I can't wait to watch that after we're done.
Girl, when I tell you, I almost peed my pants when I saw that man walk into the shop.
Oh my, I love watching his videos. He's really cool. So we're talking about JL Jupiter. He's so dope. He's another like humilde type of person también
Bien
who's like I've been able to
humilde.
like watch through his YouTube and his being on the food scene. So I can't wait to watch that. But let the people know where they can find you on your socials. We ask all of our guests what song represents you this week and why.
Oh, you did ask me that, and I forgot. What song represents me this week? Wow. Okay, I'm gonna answer the social, and then I'm gonna try to think while I'm talking.
Está bien, está
Watch
bien.
me do two things at one time. Um, okay, so Amy's Pastelillos lives at 2001 Memphis Street in Fishtown. We are a Puerto Rican takeout lunch spot, so we're only open from 11 to 3, Wednesdays through Saturdays. We are online. You can do online takeout because you can't sit in. But we do so many events that if you can't catch us during lunch, you can catch us at other things. Things that are coming up. I'll be at McAllen's, which is the old halftime good times, for a parranda on Sunday. I will be
Yes.
with the Bomberos de la Calle next Saturday. I will be at the lighthouse doing a coquito competition the following Saturday.
Oh,
um,
she booked. She booked.
yeah, we're booked.
Booked,
Okay, let me
busy,
tell
and
you,
blessed.
I
Okay.
cannot wait till January. I cannot wait for that like sun in my face. Um, what else? I'm doing a collaborative like Hanukkah dinner. Ask me how I got into the Hanukkah dinner. Yo no sé, no me pregunten. Um,
Wow.
pero I'm doing
Shalom. We out here. We out
but I
here.
was like, you know what, guys, if you're gonna put me in this, I'm gonna bring the plantains. I'm sorry. Like, I know that's not your
Esto
thing,
es
but it's
la
mine.
mancha de plátano.
¿Qué más? We're gonna be opening holiday pre-orders for Christmas. So what we do is we mostly like set you up with mostly like finish at home stuff. So like the pastelillos you can buy unfried, so that whenever you go to Nochebuena or Christmas or va pa un party, un Friendsgiving, lo que sea, or perdón, Friendsmas, you can bring pastelillo, arroz, a bunch of sides. Te hago el pernil, te lo adobo, and you just put that in the oven. So that pre-order will drop soon, probably when the podcast is available. And that's it. And then I'm gonna give my staff a nice break in between Christmas and New Year's. But yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at Amy's underscore pastelillos. That's where you'll see all of our daily specials, all the upcoming events. And yeah, the song that has been stuck in my head today is Chewy, Que Me Faltará. Love that song. Love that song.
Oh.
Love that song. By the way, let me tell you, I was geeking when I was able to feed Chewy. Oh my God.
That is so cool. We were
Oh
seeing the
my
behind the scenes,
God.
but like, look at her food. They're so
Yes.
special.
I could not believe it. I could not believe it. I was gonna believe it. But yeah, you know who else I fed? Oh my God, guess who else I fed this year?
Who? Dile, dile, dile.
Rao Alejandro.
¿Qué?
No way.
Girl, when I tell you that I was like, no lo vi, estaba en el otro cuarto, no me salió, but that's fine. Pero sí le mandé arroz con jamonilla que le gusta. And like we fed the whole team, the whole team.
Wow. Who
This is
knew? That's so
amazing.
cool.
Is that
This is so
cool?
cool.
Yo, that's when I just like freeze and I'm like, I don't know what time I live in. I'm like frozen in time. I'm like, this is crazy. This is crazy.
Amy, you might be one of God's favorite
Yep,
diasporicans. Like, I'm
exactly.
gonna give
We
you that
say it.
title.
We
I'm gonna
say
give
it
you that
here.
title.
We
Ah,
do say it.
And
listen.
from one of his other favorite diasporicans, it's real. So te lo estoy pasando.
Exacto, exacto.
I'm blessed. I cannot say that enough. Que las bendiciones sí vienen es por aquí, pero sí, en verdad pienso que mami lo están también mandando. So I'm blessed and I see
Oh
it
my
and I
gosh,
know
yeah,
it.
for sure.
But thank you for having me and letting me chat.
Thank
I
you
haven't
for
talked about this.
being
I'm feeling
here.
like super emotional. I'm trying to keep myself together. Uh,
Mm.
but thank you for having me. This was wonderful, and I
This was amazing. Thank you for for saying yes, right? For taking a chance on us. Like, who are we? This little podcast
You're
trying to
not a
be.
little podcast. You're about to be a podcast is very important. Just carry that and say that to yourself because it's real. The way and the how, el amor que ustedes tienen and like that el cariño que ustedes tienen, please keep that going. However I can help you, if you however I can help. I'm here. Pero this is wonderful. You two are wonderful, beautiful women. You keep it
Thank
pushing on this.
you.
You keep it pushing.
Thank you, thank
Love
you.
it.
Y Amy, yo quiero una docena de
Ah, de
pastelillos, yo quiero
pasteles.
mi coquito, yo quiero pasteles, I want everything. Porque hay mucha gente ahí que, ¿sabes? Que todavía no, o no cocinan o nada, you guys have to, tienen a Amy ahí para que puedan buscar su comidita. I'm gonna get mine because I need that, okay? Porque cuando yo probé ese arroz con gandules,
Oh.
you are God's favorite diasporican. You okay? You are.
For sure, for sure. No, gracias. Thank you for those kind words that you gave us. Amy, I love your story. I love that other people are going to
Yes.
hear it. For
Yeah.
those who are traveling into Philly during lunchtime, por favor, visit her. If you're able to do the pre-orders, get it. I'm telling you, the food is so good. And that's another genius idea. De que Yo te lo hago. You just have to finish the. Of course, yes. Because
Yes.
no, I don't want to be putting pastelillos together.
Exactly.
I
And
just
I'm
want the
like,
end
let
product.
us do it for you. We did for Thanksgiving, we had pastelones, we had all the desserts, like
Wow,
everything that you could just be like, you know what? Este año, like, I don't want to do it. Let us do
that's dope. Outsource to somebody who actually knoes what they're doing.
it.
No,
Exactamente.
gracias. Gracias por tu tiempo, Amy.
Claro.
You've been, like I said earlier in the pod, your stars rising may continue to rise.
Thank
I
you.
can't wait to see you in more spaces. Um, I just know that you have two cheerleaders here cheering you on,
Thank you.
wishing you well, wanting the best for you. And for those who haven't, when you get a chance, when you eat her food, you will definitely feel that connection. So I can't wait for those to continue to support you. And if you haven't, please do so. And like I always say every podcast, Josie, before we end, for those of you out there, you're Boricua enough,
That's right.
no matter here, there, anywhere, or hasta la luna.
Hasta en la luna.
Guys, have a great time. We are so geeked right now. This was such a dope conversation. And again, Amy, que you keep rising and may many blessings keep coming your way. Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
time.
Thank you for your time. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so grateful. Thank you. And I'll see you at the shop.
Claro que
You
sí, para allá
will,
vamos,
and you
porque
will.
Vengan
yo
para
quiero
acá,
eso, yo quiero
abuela.
todo. Alrighty. Bueno, gracias a todos.